Hello and welcome to another review here on Theme Park Worldwide. Today I'm here at an absolutely glorious LEGOLAND Windsor to try out the new 2019 Haunted House Monster Party. The ride opened on the 13th of April, about a week and a half ago now. Unfortunately, I was over in Italy when this did open, so I did miss that opening day. This has been my first opportunity to come down here and try out the new ride. In terms of following the construction, of course we saw the groundwork happening in the vlogs last year. Came down here at the start of the season, saw the outside, and a few weeks ago I was here where we had a little look on the path that opened for the first time. But yes, the ride's had about a week and a half of being open now. I say being open, it has had quite a lot of technical issues since opening up. It is to be expected with new rides, but obviously this is a Vekoma madhouse, so yeah, it's a new generation madhouse as well, so I think that's why they've been having some issues, but more about that later on. Welcome to this review where I've already been on it. I've just been on it twice actually this morning here at LEGOLAND. I'm lucky that I've managed to get on it. It did have a technical issue, so I had to wait a little while, so I got given a priority pass, but then I waited for it to open, so I managed to get in the normal queue and be on the first batch once it reopened, and then used my priority pass to go straight back round again, so not done too bad really. But as this is a review of the ride, it is going to contain spoilers, so if you are going to be coming here to LEGOLAND and checking out the Haunted House Monster Party and don't want it spoiling for you, then I'd recommend turning off at this point. But yeah, the ride itself then, like I say, it opened on the 13th of April on a previously unused space here. There was nothing here before, so it's not replaced any attraction. It's in a brand new show building. As I'm talking about it, I'll show some shots on the screen. Let's start off then by the outside queue area, which is located just to the left-hand side of the attraction. There's a little bit of theming around. Unfortunately, it is quite a large, as we call them, cattle pen queue line, which is a shame really. It would have been nice at least to have had a bit of cover over it. But this is the first point where you hear what is an incredible soundtrack. It's one of my favourite soundtracks in a UK theme park. Honestly, it is fantastic. And yeah, it's got a really nice upbeat feel to it. As much as it is a haunted house, it is designed for children over 0.9 metres to enjoy it, you know, so it's not one of them rides where it's really scary. And as much as it is a madhouse manufactured by Vekoma, if you're not sort of used to the technical terms, that's the same as Hex basically at Alton Towers, The Haunting at Drayton Manor, that sort of style. That's what it is. But yeah, the queue line itself, you know, nothing scary, anything like that. It's got some Lego minifigures. The scariest thing is the Cowpan queue, to be honest. A few posters on the wall. It's not great really. It'd be quite nice if there was at least a bit of cover, maybe some queue line videos or something in there. It does look a little bit different to what the original plans showed for that, but there you go. At that point, you are then led down towards the outdoor batching area. The ride itself can seat 76 people, so they do split the group up into two different queues out the front, and then you wait for the doors to open. Nice sound effect, the doors open up, and you've got like a creaky sound effect, like you're going into this old haunted house, so that's quite cool. You then make your way inside and start to climb the steps. This is where you are going to see spoilers from inside, because as much as filming isn't permitted on the ride itself, I have got footage from all the pre-show inside there, and also from in the ride vault itself before and after we've done it, not during the ride because that isn't permitted. But yes, so let's start off then. We're climbing up the steps just there. There's a couple of minifigures, some posters. You got like a ghost at the top there, which is quite nice. Some good little lighting effects and stuff around, and that soundtrack's very consistent from the queue line all the way to that point. I must say there's not one point where you can't hear that very addictive music, and if you're in that queue for, I think it's 45 minutes at the moment, if you're waiting for 45 minutes listening to that, it's going to send you a bit crazy, but in a good way, because it's a really, really good addictive soundtrack. I'll have to put a little clip in for you so you can hear it in the background. I'll try and record a bit off the speaker. At that point then, you are led up into the pre-show area. Again, you're already batched into your two groups for each side, which is very different to Hex, because obviously with the pre-shows on Hex at Alton Towers, you go through as the full group, don't you? Whereas you don't get split off until you get to the vault itself. Whereas with this, you are actually counted for each side, and there is a reasoning behind this, which I'll come to in just a moment. So yes, let's talk about the pre-show itself, and then I'll show you a little clip of that. It's going to last a couple of minutes. It's not a long pre-show, but I filmed the whole thing. I'll put it in for you. As you'll see, you've got some screens around that are like portraits. There's a couple of mirror balls in there, and that explains a bit of the story behind it as well. Basically, you've got the little minifigure Vampire, I think he's called. He sort of invited you down to this party, and they're doing like a bit of a test to see the best party trick, which is of course the fact you're going on the madhouse. But enough of me talking about it. Here's a little bit of footage of that pre-show. I say a little bit. Here's the full pre-show for the Haunted House Monster Party, and then you can see it for yourself, and instead of me trying to explain it. So here you go.
Vampire, the greatest, scariest, most awesomest vampire ever. The pleasure is all yours. Welcome to my home and to our monster party, featuring the most spectacular party trick ever. There is no greater party in town.
There is no other party in the town.
Yes, well, I'm so glad you all came. I just love to throw huge parties for my snacks. I mean, friends. Spiders!
Such a scaredy bat.
What more cake subjects?
They are here for the party.
Yes. First, I will show you my former invention. No.
Green is not my color. Oh.
I hope you're keeping our guests entertained.
Woohoo! Night time! My favorite! Best time for the Bat Boogie! You must all join in! I declare the most spectacular party trick ever ready!
How awesome is that pre-show? Honestly, I love it when they get everybody dancing as well. And there's some good theming in there. Like I say, the whole room's nicely themed all the way round. Them mirror balls that create a really nice effect, especially when they get everybody dancing. And of course, the kids love it, you know, clapping along, getting the parents involved, which is what it's all about, a family day out. Also in there, I like the flame torches at the side, what they've got on the walls. They're quite consistent throughout the attraction. And when we go through the doors and into the madhouse, you'll see them in the footage there as well. But yeah, pre-show really good, certainly a lot better than what I was expecting. And also with that as well, again, that consistent soundtrack, it's very, very addictive. And if you do come here to Legoland Windsor, you'll love that soundtrack. Again, nothing too scary in the pre-show at all. It's, you know, it's a good fun ride. I don't think your kids are going to find it scary at all. It's certainly more fun than it is scary. So yes, at that point then you are led through into the ride itself. I'll put some footage on your screen now of us walking in just there. Like I say, I can't share any footage whilst the ride is in motion as it's not permitted, but you can see a look at the vault, so to speak, itself, the ride system. And I'm going to talk more about that now. So it is a Vekoma madhouse. There's quite a lot of these all around the world, mainly in Europe. There's a lot throughout Europe, different parks. The original opened at Efteling, which is Villa Volta, and there's been so many built since then, including my personal favourite, which is Hex at Alton Towers. Then at that point on, of course, you've got all little bits of theming all around the middle, and you sit down on one bench basically on the left hand side and on the right hand side, so you pick a bench effectively. What's different about this madhouse, as you can see from the footage here, is the fact that it's got different style restraints, and the seats themselves, you actually got a seat on the bench. Instead of it just being a bench and you sort of all have to squash in together, you now have an allocated seat on this. 76 riders can go on there at one time. Like I say, it's evenly split across both sides. But yeah, that's something that's very different compared to any other madhouse that I've done. The fact that they've got the actual seats built into the bench, which is better really, because it stops everybody crushing together, and it also, for safety reasons, stops people trying to sort of all cram like 6 or 7 people into one bench. So that's quite a good idea what they've done there, and of course safety is paramount here at the parks. But yes, at that point then you'll also notice at the back of the seats there's a little bit of perspex there as well. That's new, mainly again due to safety, just to make sure, you know, nobody tried to climb out of the seat or anything. There's a bit of perspex there, all for the safety of the rider. And then of course the lap bars come down very, very quick on this, so it's not sort of a matter where the lap bars come down slow like Hex. On this they come down really quick, so it's arms in the air whilst they lower down. And I must say, you know, they are quite tight. I think they're certainly tighter on there than other madhouses, probably because it's brand new as well. It's not really spent much time open over the past week. It's been quite unreliable, like I say, and there's still a little bit of finishing off to do, as you can see behind me here with some of the fence. That's the train behind there that will be opening at some point. Anyway, the ride itself. So what happens? Of course, the room spins round. You know, it does the same sort of style cycle as what you get on the Haunted at Drayton Manor or Hex at Alton Towers. However, I don't think it spends quite as long in the upside down position. I'd say this is probably because we are at a children's theme park. You know, it's one of those where I don't think they want to be hanging for too long, even though you're not actually going upside down. There's a lot of videos online about how madhouses work. They are very clever, but basically the gondola road sort of goes like that and rocks, whereas the building itself spins round. So in that big building at the back there, you've got another building effectively what can spin round the drum itself, whilst the gondola, I think it tilts what, about 30 degrees, something like that. I'm not sure on the exact stats there, but whilst it tilts round. In terms of the theming in there, there's quite a lot to look at. It's not as heavily detailed in there as I thought. The concept art, it looks a lot more detailed in terms of little more things to look at. But don't get me wrong, it's a really good fun ride. On my second go, everyone was clapping along and everything. That was great. So you spin round, ride itself probably lasts about 3.5 minutes at a guess, as really interactive in terms of everybody was clapping along to the music that really made it actually. All the lights were flashing. There's not loads to look at when you actually spin into that upside down position. There's just sort of it's just blank at the top, but it's got like a UV effect where you see some more minifigures. But other than that, there's not loads to look at. The biggest thing for me about the ride itself, what let me down in that section, was the audio, it being too quiet and not bassy enough. I know we're at a children's park and you know we don't want the kids to get scary, but the music is really addictive and it's a very sort of cheesy track. It's certainly not scary at all. So I would like it if the music was turned up a little bit and there was a bit more bass to it. I know it's 2 big speakers at the top, but I didn't notice like any subs. It just needed sort of turning up a little bit there and a bit more bass. But you know, overall that was really good. In terms of the soundtrack, hopefully they sort out the speaker issue at some point in the near future. It's only been open a week and a half, so it's got a bit of time to get that sorted. Other than that then, in there not really else much to say. You know, there's no sort of movement in terms of any animatronics or anything in there, no projections or anything like that, but the lighting's really good, some nice LED lights on the gondola itself, and yeah, you know, I've really enjoyed it. That's about all I can say about the Madhouse section. I'd say that the whole indoor section and the pre-show is better than what I was expecting. The actual Madhouse itself was probably just underneath what I was expecting. A little bit of tweaking to some of the effects in there and the audio, I think it could make it a lot more enjoyable. But the crowds were absolutely loving it. They're all clapping along, and that's what it's all about. I'm looking at it more from an enthusiast technical point of view. In terms of the crowds, they were absolutely loving that and clapping along, which means it's done its job, doesn't it? So I'm pleased with it. To be honest, I'd go as far to say as that's my favourite ride here at Legoland Windsor, and I know I'm not the target market for this park. We're a theme park worldwide, we cover everything, so I wanted to come down here and film this. But yeah, you know, I'd say it's my favourite ride here, mainly because of the soundtrack, to be honest. Really addictive, and yeah, it's overall a great addition to the park. That's about all I've got to say on it, really. Get yourselves down here and come and check it out, or when you come off the ride, you walk down some exit steps and then just walk out to the side. The negatives for me is the outside of the building, at the back's not heavily themed. The queue line is a big cattle pen, and the ride itself, the audio needs turning up, but it's not a bad ride at all. The pre-show is excellent. The facade itself from the front, from this angle, where I'm standing here, looks really nice. Overall, it's a queue eater. From what I've seen, they've been letting groups in about every 6 or 7 minutes if all things go to plan, which is certainly very good. So what's that, maybe throughput about, what, 700 an hour maybe, give or take. So I'd say that's quite good. And Legoland needed a ride where the throughput was actually a lot better, you know. So hopefully with future investments, they're going to keep that up so it keeps the queue times down. Legoland's always been a bit famous for rides where you wait a long time and there's only like 4 seats or something. With that, it seats 76 people, a group going in every 6 minutes or so. The queue should keep moving, fingers crossed. But there you go, that's all from our review here on Theme Park Worldwide from the Haunted House Monster Monster Party. Get yourself down into Legoland, come and check it out. Just be aware that it is having quite a few technical issues at the moment. You might be worth waiting a few weeks, if not a couple of months, just to let it bed in a bit more. Vekoma, the manufacturers of the ride, are still on site working with the park to keep reliability up, but that doesn't mean that it's going to be open every day. So keep your eyes peeled on the park's official social media. Hopefully they'll post it. They didn't post anything this week, but hopefully they will keep you guys up to date on the ride's reliability. But there you go. Thanks for joining me for another review of the Haunted House Monster Party that's just opened here at Legoland Windsor. Keep watching Theme Park Worldwide, and I'll see you again soon in another video. That means it's time to cue those credits. See you all soon.